Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump, and today I'll be doing my top 5 favourite Generation 2 Pokemon. Now, Pokemon Hard Gold and Soul Silver, along with Crystal, I probably add that into the Gen 2 games. They're quite interesting when it comes to sequels, especially when it comes to RPGs and stuff like that, because back when Generation 1, Red, Blue and Yellow and Green and were released, the Pokemon were interesting, but there was the overpowered psychic types at the time, where psychic types were pretty much OP and neither bug or ghost types could really do anything. And then when Gen 2 came out, not only did they have new Pokemon, but also two new types, being the Steel and Dark, to help sort of balance out the typings more, and to give either resistance for Steel types and super effectiveness with Dark types against Psychic types. And I think the Pokemon in this generation are really cool and interesting, and I'll just be going over some of my favourites. So for number 5 is Crowbat. Now, Crowbat is, I think, one of my favourite Pokemon, or my favourite Pokemon to come out of the generation, in terms of when it comes to flying types, because it's the final evolution stage for Zubat, and if you've ever played a Pokemon game before, you've probably encountered a Zubat in a cave somewhere, in any of the regions. And Zubat is kind of like glitter, in the sense that it gets everywhere, or it's like cave glitter. That's the term I've heard compared to Zubat. But with Crowbat, I feel like it's a perfect final stage with Zubat, because with Crowbat it's like this four-winged purple bat, and I do like the whole face on it as well. It's like this sort of weird smile to it, and I do really like its design, as I said before. I think the wings are quite cool, and I do like the body of it. It's kind of like this sort of round ball with wings and a face. That's really cool, and I do like how in order to get a Crowbat, you have to have your Golbat have like friendship and stuff, or like high friendship or something like that. And with Crowbat, I just think it really suits the Zubat line, and it makes it fun to use, because with Zubat you can't really use it for a while, because it has moves like Leech Life and Supersonic, and then that not really much else until you level it up and it gets Wing Attack. But when it becomes Crowbat, it becomes a lot more feasible, and it's a lot faster than Zubat, and I think it's really enjoyable. For number 4 is Houndoom. Now with Houndoom, I think its design is really cool, because it's basically this fire dog with a dark type, and that's really interesting. And I do like how it's like this. It's got this sort of like weird sort of bone things. I'm not 100% sure what it is. It's like these sort of like bone things. It's either that, or I'm thinking if it's Mega Form, because Mega Houndoom does have these sort of like bone things on its head. And I think Houndoom is really interesting. And I do like its tail. I think its tail's, because it's kind of like a devil tail. That mainly because it's part dark type, and I think dark in Japanese is evil, or the evil type. It's either that or ghost. And Houndoom does look something out of like mythology or something. It kind of reminds me of that. And Houndoom is such a fun and unique Pokemon. You don't really normally see a lot of fire dark types. I could be wrong, but Houndoom is a really fun, interesting type, and I hope that we get to see more fire dark types. For number 3 is Steelix. Now Steelix, I would say, like with Crowbat, I would say Steelix is a nice, interesting evolution from Onix, because Onix is just basically this giant rock snake. Steelix is a giant steel rock snake, and I do like its design, like how it kind of it looks like a larger version of an Onix, and I do like how its head is kind of sort of it kind of looks like a sort of like a boat or something, and not in the sense that like with the one with the sail and stuff, but like if you took the underneath part of a boat, like the head and the mouth of it, and just turn it upside down, it kind of looks like that, and you just give it a face and stuff like that. And with Mega Steelix, it's okay, I guess. It just feels like regular Steelix, but with added bits to it. It's kind of got like the sort of like circle around its body of like metal or something, and yeah, Steelix is really, I think, a really fun, interesting Pokemon, and it has some nice elements to it. I do like how you need to evolve it, you need to have a metal coat and trade it with another Pokemon, so that's really cool. But yeah, Steelix is, I think, a lot better design than Onix, and I think it's a nice pairing or nice evolution to go with Onix. So yeah. For number 2 is Umbreon. Now, Umbreon was, I would say, the rep of the Dark types, or what, if not one of the main, or basically, if not the main, one of the mains to represent the Dark types. Kind of like how Steelix was the rep for the Steel types. And with Umbreon, I do like its design as kind of like this sort of like if you took Eevee and gave it these sort of like if you gave it the colours of black and yellow, that's really interesting. And I do like how on its face it's got like this sort of like dot. I think it's a dot. I think it's got a dot. If not, that's probably what Espeon has. And I do like how I do like its design. Like I do like the ears, the tail. I think it's one of those mysterious designs that I just love, where you can't really describe it until you see it. Or yeah, because like with Umbreon, I do like it feels majestic in a weird way, because you don't really see a lot of designs like Umbreon, because Umbreon is such an interesting, mysterious Pokemon, and I do like how it's just designed to just be basically Eevee, but a Dark type, and that's really fun and interesting. And I do like how, again, I know I'm repeating myself with like Steelix and the Crowbat points, but with Umbreon, you have to evolve it with high happiness in the Dark time, and you don't normally see that in Pokemon evolutions, where you have to evolve Pokemon at a specific time of day. Another example that's quite close to it is Riolu into Lucario. We have to evolve that at night in the morning, and that's really fun. And yeah, with Umbreon, it's kind of the same, but at night time. And I think it's a really fun, interesting Pokemon to use, and I think it's a really nice representation of the Dark type when it had been first introduced in Gen 2. And for number 1 is Mareep. Now Mareep, in design, it's really fun and adorable because it's a sheep, and I do really like sheep. I think sheep are one of my favorite animals ever, and I just like its design. It's basically a fluffy electric sheep that becomes Ampharos, and with Mareep, I just like how it becomes like a sheep, just a 4-legged sheep just running about, that can use thunderbolts and stuff like that. Then becomes its secondary form, which I don't really remember, and then which is basically just a Mareep but on 2 legs, which is a bit weird, and then becomes Ampharos, which is basically loses all the fur and just kind of looks like a mix between a giraffe and a sheep a bit. But with Mareep, I do like its design. Like, it's got the fur. I do like the bit of its tail. I think the tail looks nice. And I do like how it's got these 2 cones as ears. I think they're supposed to be ears. But it's such an adorable Pokemon that it kind of reminds me of Wooloo a bit from Sword and Shield. But with Wooloo is a normal type, and with Mareep being an electric type. And I think Mareep is a very adorable little looking Pokemon that you can't be mad at. And I think it's just one of those Pokemon that I just love to use and just to see in real life, to see how it would be just to see how it look like in real life. So yeah. So that's been my top 5 favourite Generation 2 Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.